Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to break down something huge, a massive shift in global power, this big move away from the US dollar and into solid gold.
Okay, so let's start with a question. Now, you might think the choice is obvious, right? Gold, of course. But for decades, the world's most powerful nations have actually preferred the paper. And by paper, I mean US government IOUs.
Well, that preference is changing, and it's changing fast. Take a look at this number, 1,136 tons. That's the record amount of gold central banks bought in 2022 alone. And guess what? The buying spree hasn't stopped. We are literally witnessing a historic, but kind of quiet, shift in how the world's nations store their wealth.
So yeah, this is way more than just a market trend. You can think of it as a quiet rebellion against the world's #1 currency. It's really a story about power, about risk, and what money even is.
Okay, just look at this chart. The really crazy thing here is just how fast this is happening. I mean, the amount of gold that central banks bought in 2022 and 2023, it just completely dwarfs the average from the years before. You'd have to go all the way back to the 1970s to see buying on this scale. So what on earth is going on?
Well, to really get a handle on this gold rush, we first have to talk about this growing anxiety around the US dollar. There's a name for it, De-Dollarization.
And what is that? Well, it's pretty much a global effort by a bunch of countries to build other financial systems, basically to be less dependent on one single currency that's controlled by one single country. And there are two big risks that are really fueling this whole thing.
So, motive number one is geopolitical risk. When the US froze Russia's central bank reserves, man, that sent a shockwave across the entire planet. It was like a live demonstration that your dollar assets, even if you're a whole country, could just, poof, be frozen in an instant.
And this quote right here, it just nails the fear that's now driving these decisions. It put this massive question out there for every country. Hey, are our reserves really ours if someone else can just flip a switch and turn them off?
All right, the other big reason is all about economics. It boils down to this idea of counterparty risk. Think about it. A U.S. Treasury bond is basically an IOU. You're counting on the U.S. government to pay you back. But physical gold, that's different. It's a real, tangible thing you can hold. There's no one else's promise attached to it. It just is. And that's why it's been the go-to store of value for, like, thousands of years.
So, okay, we know why they're doing it, but how are countries actually pulling this off? Because this isn't just talk. We're seeing nations take real, concrete steps to get away from the dollar.
It looks like there's about a 4-part strategy they're using. First, they're just trading with each other in their own currencies, cutting the dollar out of the loop. Second,